Edwards, and I'm your host. Today we're going to talk a bit about Qi Gong and Tai Chi. So today I have with me Corinne Chaves. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Kate. Good, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's really exciting. She has a lot of experience to share with us. She is a senior instructor for Tai Chi and Qi Gong. She is a board-certified and licensed Chinese medical massage practitioner and a certified external Qi practitioner. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Good. She also has 15 years of experience in Chinese internal arts and 30 years of experience in yoga. These tools and techniques help her to support people on their health and wellness journey. Corinne, could you please tell us a little bit about what Tai Chi is and what Qi Gong is?
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Kate. Tai Chi and Qi Gong are really practices, exercises on the same continuum of internal arts practices that are part of the Chinese medical world. And the Qi Gong, I'm going to start with Qi Gong,
Sure.
has its roots in ancient shamanic Chinese practices dating back 5,000, 10,000 years. Originally, these came from dance that were then augmented with observation of animals in nature and how animals moved in nature, and those were then adapted to human movements with the intention that each movement moves energy through the body in a specific way. And so when we do an exercise, it might be a very simple external movement, but internally we have a specific action that has to occur in the energy body. And so in Qigong, you'll typically see people taking one movement and combining it with breath, with visualization, and then repeating it 5, 6, 8, 36 times in order to smooth and clear specific channels in the body. And when I talk about channels, I'm talking about the same channels that you would see in an acupuncture dummy. So
Sure.
This is again related to Chinese medicine and to the same energetic model of the body as is used in acupuncture, bone setting, and Tuina, the Chinese medical massage. Tai Chi takes this to I'll say a higher level. Sometimes we think of it as the most advanced form of Qigong practice, where Tai Chi literally translates as supreme ultimate. And when we do Tai Chi, we take one movement and flow it to the next movement and flow it to the next movement. Traditionally, Tai Chi forms would be created by masters who understood the energetic flow of each movement through the body so that the entire form would create a healing mechanism which moves energy through one channel, then through the next channel, and then through the next channel in a specific way.
Okay.
And we even talk about the Tai Chi practitioner synchronizing with the lineage of Tai Chi through the practice of the forms that are affiliated with that lineage. Tai Chi also is a martial art. It's what we call an internal martial art, and the reason it's internal is that every movement we think about the deployment of qi from the lower dantian, the lower elixir field, and how that gets applied to the opponent, or how we use the opponent's energy against them. So we use their own momentum and energy against them. A high-level practitioner who can see the energy fields can also derail a movement before it even is activated, because they see the beginning of the deployment of energy from the lower dantian. I don't have that skill, but there are those out there who do.
That's okay. So it sounds like using these types of movement patterns, you can also get into a bit of a meditative state. So
absolutely. In fact, there's a saying in the Tai Chi world of stillness in motion and motion in stillness. And stillness in motion refers to this idea that when we are practicing Tai Chi, the mind, the body, the breath have to be absolutely focused just on what we're doing. Because if you don't, you get lost in the form and you end up somewhere else. And that complete practice of presence, of mindfulness in the movement, creates that internal stillness. So Tai Chi at its highest is also a form of meditation. When we talk about movement in stillness, this is the idea that when we go into a high level of meditation and become completely still, one of the things that shows up is the movement of Qi beginning to circulate through the body, and that's the motion and stillness.
Okay. So what type of people or who would benefit from this?
Everyone.
I was going to say, in my mind, everyone would.
Absolutely, everyone would. At a minimum, we get the physical health benefits. Mm-hmm. So again, going back to the theory or principle, if we think of the idea that first we have a spirit, then the spirit manifests an energy body, and then the physical manifestation of the body is kind of the least refined component of us. Mm-hmm. And if we start at that principle, any illness that shows up in the physical body begins in the energy body. So even somebody, say, who's in an accident, who receives an injury from an external, that also disrupts the energy body. If you can get the energy flow moving again, then that will speed the healing at the physical level. Mm. If you have somebody who's had emotional trauma that hasn't been completely digested, yes, then at that point that also gets lodged in the energy body, mm-hmm, and that blockage in the energy body shows up as illness in the physical body. Or if we become Qi depleted, energy depleted, then that shows up as reducing the quality of the physical organs, which then allows illness to come in. And so this idea of in Tai Chi and in Qi Gong, we want to improve the quality and quantity of the Qi. And then we also want to smooth the pathways, mm-hmm, so that the Qi can flow through the body appropriately. And then we want to balance and harmonize the Qi between the organs and between the different systems of the body. And so it's a complete integration and harmonization of all of the components. All of that affects us both at the physical and at the energetic level.
Absolutely. So that sounds a little bit like how you're helping people to self-heal or empower them to let their body heal itself.
All healing is self-healing. Even surgery ultimately is self-healing with a medical intervention component where, the surgeon has gone in and either removed a malignancy or smoothed a pathway or sewn something back together that was torn. I mean, simplistically, mm-hmm, representing that, but even surgery is a facilitation of self-healing, because then after that, the body itself has to heal and reestablish the energy pathways within the organism, our organism. And so surgery is a way of doing that. Even medication is ideally supporting true healing rather than just addressing symptoms, but let's not go into that conversation.
Sure.
So in the best of all worlds, medication would be specifically addressing energy requirement of the organs or supporting the health and healing rather than making war, yes, on the organism that's at fault if there is an invading organism. And so very much in a foundational principle in this is that we improve the foundational health of the system, mm-hmm, so that the immune function can do its work.
Yes, that makes sense.
That the immune function of the body is really what is dealing with any invading organisms. That we are smoothing and improving the quality of the Qi, the energy, to improve the quality of the organs to restore youthfulness to the system. And
doesn't that sound wonderful?
So it's a little different approach from our Western making war on the invader's idea.
I think so. It's a very different approach, right?
Well, hopefully we're beginning to have some crossover and some appreciation for taking the best of both worlds and using the best of both worlds to provide for us.
I think we are. I'm definitely seeing it, and we had talked earlier, not on the show, about some of the research that was coming out and how even in our Western medicine, we're starting to recognize the benefits of, for instance, Tai Chi.
Yes.
So I know from PT school, we talked about, we had a professor actually that did a lot of studies on Tai Chi, and he talked about how it was really good for balance, and it was really good to improve people so that they were less risk for falls, things like that. But you and I had talked about something else. What else have you read about it, or do you know?
Well, this is, and I hope that I'll get the quotation right, the source. In an earlier edition of the Harvard Medical School's Journal of Women's Health, there was a quotation that I just love about Tai Chi being the medicine of the future, and really recognizing and acknowledging the power of the movement to support our overall health.
I think it's wonderful.
I'm very happy to see that crossover happening. And of course, the whole field of epigenetics is a confirmation of what the Tai Chi masters have been saying about the ability to affect our genetic structure through Tai Chi and even undo what we would call pre-heaven or genetic conditions in the body so that we can even heal those. And so it's just wonderful to see this happening, that science is beginning to support these millennia old approaches and beliefs.
I think so too, and I think there was a book called Super Genes.
I haven't seen that one.
I think it's actually a Deepak Chopra book and I believe it's called Super Genes, and it talks about the epigenetics.
And I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, and how you can change your genetics and the genetic structure of your children.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing. When I saw that, I thought, wow, okay, Andy, my son has the heart gene that I have, and I thought, I'm going to do everything I possibly can from an energy perspective in order to help him, because he's young enough. So that's really interesting stuff.
The Taoists believe that you can affect 3 generations back and 3 generations forward through your practices. So that's a little bit off the wall and off topic, but I thought you'd enjoy that.
I do enjoy that. Thank you for telling me. So when it comes to when someone's starting a Tai Chi practice it seems like a Qi Gong practice would be a better place to start. Is that right?
Yes, usually, unless somebody has a dance background or some other gymnastics, ice skating, something like that, it's typically easier and better for people to start with a few years of Qi Gong. That way they learn the basics of how to stand, how to sink their weight, how to be present in the body, how to breathe, how to relax their shoulders, and all of those things, rather than trying to learn that while trying to learn a form. And so definitely, I think in China it's traditional that one would do that first.
Well, I guess that's where I should start, considering I got a concussion in my first ballet class.
Sounds like we need to ground you a little bit.
So that's pretty funny. Okay. So how would you suggest someone who's interested in something like this, what should they do?
My suggestion is to find a teacher that you resonate with. So not everybody is going to resonate and like every teacher.
Right.
So I definitely recommend go and try a few classes at a few different places. I don't recommend learning from video because the video can't give you any feedback and tell you what to do. I also recommend that when you're searching that you look for the student's lineage. I am very opposed to people inventing and creating their own forms. Very few true masters are walking around at any given time on the earth. There's something which is called Qi deviations, which is where you try to move the Qi in ways that aren't healthy for you, and you can create problems for yourself. And so I definitely recommend finding somebody who knows what they're doing and not just studying from a video.
Yeah, I had no idea that you could actually harm yourself.
Yes, and the same, I mean, a good teacher will tell you, don't practice Qi Gong within 2 hours of yoga, because not because either of them is bad, but because the way they work on the energy body is different and it may be in conflict.
Oh.
So that 2 hours allows the current element in the classical order of Jings to complete its circuit and move into the next element or the next organ before you begin the other practice.
Okay, that's really helpful. I mean, I'm somebody that would be like, okay, I'm going to go to Qigong, and now I'm going to go to yoga, even though that's...
And, you know, somebody who's really at the beginning of their practice, it's not going to make much difference because they're not going to be moving energy in a powerful way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good discipline to have from the beginning so that they don't get into trouble later.
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
In the practice, yeah.
And then if somebody has something specific they're trying to work out, do you take that into consideration, or are there different movements for different things?
Absolutely. Every movement affects the body in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I work with people in very specific ways where they'll come to me because they have fatigue issues, or they have lung issues, or they have insomnia, or they have, I mean, on and on. It could be just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the practices that I'll recommend based on their needs will vary. I know
Mm-hmm.
about 40 different forms.
Wow.
And so, I mean, Qigong has literally thousands of forms.
Okay.
So to say I know 40 is just scratching the surface.
40 seems like a lot to me, but...
Well,
fantastic.
here's the thing. The Tai Chi, I don't know if credo is the right term or not, but what we would say is for the first 10 years you can say I've been taught a little Tai Chi. For the second 10 years, you can say, I've learned a little Tai Chi. And the third 10 years, you can say, I know a little Tai Chi. Just to give you a sense of the potential scope of material that's out there. Because literally, I mean, this has been growing. These practices have been refined over thousands of years.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really so cool.
So, I hadn't planned on this prior to meeting you, talking a little bit about this, but I think you have such an interesting background and such a great combination of skills. So even though we were supposed to just talk about the Tai Chi and the Qigong, I also would like to talk a little bit about your presence practice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really great thing, and so many people could benefit from that. Will you tell me a little bit about what you're doing around that?
Thank you. This is something that's actually very near to my heart right now. Presence or mindfulness, most people have heard of Eckhart Tolle, and they've read his books on practicing presence, and or they've heard of mindfulness from a Buddhist perspective. And in Taoist perspective, we call it Xing cultivation, or cultivation of essential nature. And basically, this has to do with being here now. It has to do with undoing the hamster wheel of anxiety or fear or anger. It has to do with letting go of expectations and just accepting what is in the moment and operating from that acceptance in one's day-to-day life. So the truth is that when we don't operate from that place, we are holding on to either past regrets or shame or anger from childhood or from trauma that just sits in the body. And so even though it manifests as this mental, emotional experience, it's also reflected in the health of the body. And when we are living in the future, I'm going to wait until such and such happens before I do something, or I'm going to expect that when I get married, my husband is going to take care of me and it's all going to be roses. Well, we all know that the reality is that we're human, each of us. And the sooner we can accept and live out of that acceptance of who we really are, the easier it is for us to enjoy life and enjoy the moment. And the truth is that we waste so much of our life energy focused on old hurts or future slights that may or may not happen. that we forget to be happy. We
That's the
forget
truth.
to just be grateful for what is. We forget to enjoy the flowers. We forget to enjoy the clouds or enjoy the sun.
Mhm.
And so practicing presence is really about coming back into now, which is also about releasing the old trauma and releasing the trained expectations and cycles of thinking. And when we do that work, our life becomes much richer because we're just there enjoying what is.
Right. I actually was walking up my walkway to my house the other day, and it had just rained, and I'm in a cycle right now where I'd been doing too much, and it was very clear, and I was tired, but in that moment I saw the water hanging off of the leaves in the tree, and I thought, okay, stop, you're here now.
Did you
Move
smell
on.
the rain?
Yes, it's amazing, isn't
it beautiful? Yeah.
Yes.
And how many of us stop and smell the rain?
I don't think there are hardly any of us, right? Because we're always doing.
That's right. That's right. So we call it being instead of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be actually quite frightening if we're accustomed to creating space between us and our emotional state, because part of the process of becoming present has to do with facing those old hurts and traumas so that we can let go of them. Because as long as we keep them locked in or suppressed, they will come back to bug us. They will come back to haunt us. And in Qi Gong, in Taoist practice, in meditation, we talk about doing the physical work to get the body smooth, and then doing the emotional work to get the mind smooth, so that when we sit to meditate, the mind doesn't bother us, the emotions don't bother us, the body doesn't bother us, and then we can really meditate.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else is just practice.
It sounds amazing.
So it's all about allowing us to really be fully present with whatever is happening.
And so you're starting to do, you have a couple programs that you're starting to work on towards
Well,
this,
I've been
is that right?
teaching for a few years now at one of the cancer centers in town, and I'm working on a book. I have a book coming out based on the teachings, and my intent is, I've been struggling with how to offer this in a way that people feel safe, because the key is for people to learn the tools and techniques and then put them into practice in daily life, which means talking and sharing your experiences, and of course people need to feel safe when they do that.
Absolutely.
So I'm struggling with doing this as an online class for that reason.
Right. Okay. Well, you'll have to let us know what you decide and how you're going to bring it to people, because I think it'll be very valuable.
Thank you.
I'll be happy to share it.
Great. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly powerful work, and I'm seeing amazing transformation as people take this in and make it their own practice. Lots of happy people, I shouldn't say lots of people learning to be happier and changing how they relate to everyone. You go into your family and you have all the old dramas that come up, and now I've got people going, I went and I was with my family and the dramas just didn't touch me anymore.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it just didn't touch me anymore. I didn't respond when everybody started pushing my buttons. Now they're all upset because, we've changed the dynamic of the family, but that's their problem, not my problem. It's not about me.
Wouldn't that be a nice holiday season? Well, good. Well, thank you for sharing that piece of you with us. I'm really thankful.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome. Why don't I would love to show the audience a little bit about what Tai Chi looks like, and also what Qi Gong looks like. And I'd like to do some of the movements
Wonderful.
with you.
I think that's great.
And I guess it seems only right that we do Qi Gong first, and then you can follow up, and I'll step aside for the Tai Chi component.
Okay.
And then we'll move from there. Does that sound okay?
Sounds perfect. Okay, so great. So let's do a little bit of Qi Gong then.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do, the first thing is just what we call Wu Ji stance, which is, so what we want to do is just sink and bend the knees.
Okay.
And then with the left foot, step open about shoulder width apart. Maybe not quite so. That's perfect. And now Wuji stance, we just balance the weight between the two legs. We bring the hips back a little bit,
Okay.
as if we were about to sit down. We lengthen the spine, drop the shoulders, chin down, and then we're going to touch the tongue to the roof of the mouth to close the gap between the Du and the Ren channels.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep it there pretty much the whole time we do Qi Gong.
Okay.
So the first movement that I'm going to teach you is called commencement. Very simple. And we just gently inhale, lift the hands to the shoulder level, keep the shoulders down, and then exhale and lower the hands, sink the body a little bit more. So we're just going to inhale, rise, relax your fingers, soft, and exhale down. So we want everything soft, and we only use those muscles that we absolutely have to. Inhale and exhale. So this is what we call commencement.
Okay.
And it's also often the beginning movement in Tai Chi, hence probably its name.
Yes.
So a little rise on the legs and a little fall, but we keep the legs unlocked, all the joints soft and unlocked, because if they lock, then the Qi can't flow through them. And everything is very soft. Good. Now we're going to do a second movement, which is called open chest wide. So these are from a group of movements called Tai Chi Qi Gong, 18 movements, part 1.
Okay.
So we're going to bring the hands up, turn the palms facing, and open, shoulders down. Good. And then exhale, close, and lower the hands. So you see how we've done something very simple in the physical movement with the breath. Really relax your shoulders. Relax, relax, relax. And so you can see how we could just do this 100 times.
Yeah.
And functionally, this works on the lung channel, is where the primary health practice is with this. But we can add a visualization to it, which makes it a very much more complex movement.
Okay.
So imagine now gripping the floor slightly,
Okay.
and behind the ball of the feet we have kidney 1 is
Okay.
a point on the bottom of the foot. So now what we're going to do is, as we inhale and bring the hands to the chest, imagine bringing energy from the earth up through the inside of the legs to the chest, and then out the inside of the arms, out to the palms. Now bring it around your fingertips and bring it up the back of the arms to the shoulders and head, and then down the back and sides of the body and back to the earth. So now it's not just this simple movement anymore.
No, it's not.
So inhale, coming up to the chest and out to the palms. So we're bringing the earth energy in, and then we're bringing the heaven energy down the back of the body, down to the earth, back into the earth. So we do yin, qi up to the palms, shoulders down, and yang qi down and to the earth. So we're taking earth energy and heaven energy.
You can see how this can become meditative very quickly. It's amazing.
So the other part of it is now the way we use the breath. What we want to do is to breathe so that the breath lasts for the entire length of the movement, and we complete the inhalation without struggling, and then we exhale, again letting the breath last for the entire movement as we rise and inhale and close down and exhale. You feel how that now really begins to shift your internal energy, and exhale.
I know we're on camera, but I'm like, sorry guys, I just want to do this. It's really interesting. Okay.
Good. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something a little more challenging.
Okay.
This one's called Heaven, Earth, and Man United as One, and it comes from a different form.
Okay.
So we're going to open the feet now into horse stance, Mabu. So
Mabu.
the hips go back, legs good, knees are open over the feet.
Okay.
And we're going to shift all the way to the left, to the right.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So now bend the left knee, and from the back, shift back. Now turn. shift back. So what I want you to do is not do this, but
Okay.
bend the knee and shift back. Turn your hips. Good. Turn your hips. Shift. Turn your hips. Shift. Turn your hips. Just to give you a sense, this is a more advanced movement.
I see that.
Turn your hips. So now you understand why we do Qi Gong for a while before we do Tai Chi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to add the hands.
Okay.
So left hand.
This one. Yep.
Yep, turn your left hip towards me. There, good. So now we're going to inhale, bring the hand up to the top of the head, turn the palm out. Exhale, lower the hand behind you. Inhale, raise the hand as you shift. Turn your palm also. And exhale, press down. Inhale, shift to the left. Turn the hand as you turn the body. Turn the palm. Good. Exhale, press down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Fingertips pointing up. And exhale. Keep the shoulders down. So even though the arms go up, the shoulders stay down. Inhale. And exhale. So now we want to soften that breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. And back in. Inhale and exhale. And this one we do 36 repetitions.
Wow.
Feels good, right?
It does feel really good. It does. It really takes you into your body and makes you, I mean, I could do that for a very long time and
Yeah.
completely zone out.
And that's another one. Once you've learned the physical of it, then we would add the energy visualization as well
Wow.
to superpower it,
Yes.
supercharge it.
I love it. Okay, very good.
Okay, we're going to do one more.
Sure.
So this one is used for closing,
Okay.
and we're just going to inhale and bring the hands up, palms down. Exhale, bring the hands down to the lower dantian, below the belly button. Circle the belt channel, inhale, and exhale, press down to the earth. So this is partly a cleansing. So as we come up, inhale, imagine that you're collecting healing qi from all around you. Bring it in through the top of the head and shower the entire body with it, cleansing and clearing and bringing in this healing energy. Now coming around the belt channel, taking the Bing Qi and pressing it down and out and into the earth to clear and clean the body. So we're bringing in good Qi, bringing it into the system. As it comes in, it pushes out the stagnant Qi, and we're going to take that stagnant Qi and circle it and push it down and out and into the earth. And take a gentle fire, so just inhale and exhale. Good. Bring the left foot in, rise, right hand underneath for women, and cover the belly.
That's cool. Cool. Well, thank you. I just
Thank
kind of
you.
want to give you a hug.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Well, that's amazing. I can see why I should not be following you with Tai Chi yet.
Well, Tai Chi is a little bit more challenging, and
Yeah.
that's why, I said that if people don't have the training, martial arts, I'll add that to the list,
Mhm.
of learning a sequence,
Mhm.
it's very challenging.
Yeah. Well, that was great. I'm going to step out of the way for a second so that you can show us a little bit of Tai Chi, and then I'll come back in.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
peaceful.
Well, you can feel that you have to be present while you're doing it, or you mess up.
Yeah.
You find yourself facing the wrong way.
Well, I mean, even watching you, it was just incredibly peaceful, and I could hear the birds in the background and really appreciate what it was about. So, yeah, so thank you so much for showing that to us.
Thank you for having me
Yeah.
do it.
Well, and I hope that people can watch this, and if it speaks to them, they'll find somebody near them. And I know a lot of people that listen to the show are actually in the Atlanta area, so that would be
Wonderful.
Wonderful. What's your website again?
CorinneChaves.com.
Okay, great, and we'll make sure that they can see that and have a link to you.
And I'll make sure and update my calendar.
That's right. That would be very good. So that they're not trying to go to classes that don't exist.
Well, more that there aren't classes listed that do exist.
Well, that's good. Well, as always, you guys, I would love your feedback. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for us so that I can always improve the show for you. I hope you got a lot out of this. I know I did.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Good. And I would also like to remind you, if you haven't tried to check out my book yet, Racing Heart, I would love for you guys to take a look at it. It talks a lot about my journey, losing something that I love, finding out that I have a rare genetic heart disease, and kind of how I've dealt with it moving forward. So some of these principles that we talked about, being more present and trying to figure out how to be rather than do, are some of the things that I talk about. So thanks a lot, you guys, and hopefully we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you.